Surf's up, my peoples! Welcome to another Hallelujah Caesar review. Today I am reviewing The Perfect Wave, Surf Your Way to Greatness. This is a review coming from someone who has never surfed before, but it is actually a very fun card game with a unique take on kind of set collecting runs, trying to collect sets and runs for your hand, if you will, or in this case, you're trying to set up the perfect wave as the theme here. So this is a great game. This is published by the Op Games. I'd like to thank them for providing a review copy for purposes of this video. It is for 2 to 4 players, ages 8 and up, and they say 30 to 60 minutes. I imagine if you're playing with just a couple of players and that both have played for a little bit, 30 minutes could happen. But yeah, I think if you plan for an hour after playing for a little bit, you should be good to go. Some very cool artwork, aesthetic here, which I think is great. The packaging and everything, you can really tell that they really tried to minimize the use of plastic and reusable materials, which I think is great. You had a great rule set here. As far as the rules go, everything was presented well. They have some specific examples throughout the book as well. And yeah, so I think everything's well laid out in the rule set. Everything's packaged well in the game as well. Fits in the box. You can figure out how to get everything back in there very well. So that's very nice. You got some tokens here. This bag right here, you have these surf wax tokens, which are used, as well as these surfer tokens, which are double-sided. And so I appreciate that as well. It gives a lot of, kind of variety to the different surfers that you can choose from. And so you choose one of those. There's also a first player marker in here to set that up, and some surfboards to specify which kind of group goals are going to be scored that game, if any at all. So we'll show you some of this. This is not going to be a full how to play, but I'm going to show you some of the basic mechanics of the game and talk about the game itself and what I think of it. They included some player aid cards, one for each player, so that's great, fantastic. They got some setup reminders. There's going to be some variation if you play with 3 or 2 players, so they have those on there as well. But the basic game, you're going to have 2 action points per turn, and so it lays those out for you of what actions cost there. Also, a little score reference here. As I mentioned, you're trying to collect certain sets and runs of cards and the points that you'll get for each of those. There's going to be a main board here that you're going to pull out, and it's kind of like this nice pier or dock here that you're going to have your card selections from. And as the game progresses, as people take cards, if things are not taken, they're going to be washed out to sea. And so the decks are always constantly moving and flowing with new cards to select from, which I think is a really good mechanic to the game, to have the game, constantly moving. The game also has these player boards for each individual person as well. And those are kind of a trifold here. So they open like so. They're very long here, as you can see. There's all sorts of different areas for your cards. And really the game is interesting because you have your little surfer token and it's played underneath. And as you collect these different cards, these different wave cards, you are going to figure out and try to plan the perfect wave. The way that you're going to do that is you're going to be collecting these cards from the middle, and either immediately playing them in a place where your surfer is or to the right. Once your surfer started moving, if my surfer's underneath this card, I can no longer play cards to the left of that. So you have to balance moving your surfer out, because you want to also have your surfer moved out by the end of the game to score the points. So if you have cards all the way out here and your surfer's only made it here, you're not going to be able to score any of those points. You're only going to score points for the cards that are to the, where the surfer is and to the left. So there's cards that will allow you to paddle out, but you're going to be collecting these cards, and you're going to want to try to collect sets and runs of at least 3 or more of those. And so here I have a set, and if we were to go look at our player aid card, a set of 3 cards is going to score me 30 points. And as long as I'm able to score all of those cards with my surfer out, I'm also going to get points for underneath each of those cards where it's going to score. So you're collecting these cards, and you're going to want to, again, try to start small and then go up. The one thing I kind of like about this is you can also have them score multiple things. So I could have a set of 6s here, but then I could also do a 7 and hopefully find an 8 and maybe continue this run going, because this could count as a set, and it's also a run of 3 already for right now. So I like that mechanic, that you're able to do that. And it builds up, obviously. Your larger numbers here have that larger wave, and then it gets smaller as it goes in. Thematically, I think everything just looks really well, looks good, and plays well as far as the game mechanics with the theme. So you have this deck of cards. Above your wave cards, you also have these trick cards. And so these are shuffled up, and so on your turn, you're only going to be able to choose, from either one of those style of cards as you play the game. And so there's some cool mechanics, or some ways to score bonus points. There's these paddle out cards, which you'll need to help move your surfer out. But if you have this, for example, if it's above a unique number in your wave, you're going to get 20 more points. So obviously, if you only have 1 7, and you can get that played above, and those are all played face down. If some people may or may not remember what you've taken, what you're trying to go for, but the idea there is those will stay face down until the final scoring. But there's different cards. So these will score combos if it's next to another card, another combo. If above the highest number in your wave, this air card, you're going to get 10 bonus points. Those paddle out cards, if it's above an odd number, you have a cutback. There's another combo. There's also if above your rightmost wave card, you're going to get 20 points. There's also, let's see, where is it? There's if it's above a run, highest number. Obviously, there are some duplicates here. If there's no adjacent tricks, you would get that one scored. There's also cards here for whoever has the most. So if you reveal the most snap trick cards in your wave, you're going to score 40 points total, not per card. So you're collecting these, you're collecting the number cards, those sets and runs, trying to get those up. There's also you have a secret kind of goal card. There's also going to be a few of these up for potentially a group scoring goal card, but you have to take a turn to take one of the surfboards and actually activate it to be scored. But it is worth 50 points. It does take your turn there to be able to do that. So 2 action points, activate a public goal is going to cost you 2 actions to do that, but if it scores you 50 points, that's going to be a big deal. So But some examples: reveal at least one successful trick above a set of threes. Reveal a wave where the difference between your leftmost and your rightmost wave card is 5 or less. Reveal the last one successful trick above a set of sixes. End the game with no wave or trick cards in hand. Reveal a wave with all numbers 7 or greater. So it gives a lot of kind of variety and a unique element of not just collecting sets and runs and those scorecards, but even an additional thing on top of that. So I think it's a great game. It's got a great aesthetic and theme to it, but it's just a very well managed game that's very different than what I would normally think of with kind of collecting sets and runs of cards. You think of like Rummy and these classic kind of card games where you're trying to just collect these different sets and runs. And it adds a lot of different variety and new kind of elements to that, right? Of positioning that and being, you have to kind of start and plan out your waves as you get going. Different trick cards, points there. You're gonna get more points the further out you go, but you also have to pull your surfer out, make sure that they get far enough out to be able to score everything by grabbing those paddle out cards and things like that. So it's a really, really fun game. I've enjoyed that one. This one is The Perfect Wave, published by the Op Games for 2 to 4 players. If that one looks like one that you'd enjoy, go ahead and check that out. Thanks for watching the video. And The Perfect Wave is a great family game, great, lightweight set collecting type game that I think just plays really well. Is really fun on the table, looks great as well. That is how Lou sees it. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you found it helpful, consider giving it a like and comment below if you have any questions. And we will catch you next time. Hang loose. Until then, bye.